On Thursday, disturbing footage emerged of police in Buffalo shoving an elderly man to the ground and then refusing to help him. So the video that I'm going to show you is pretty graphic. So I want to give you guys just a warning about that. There will be blood, and so let's take a look.
He is bleeding out of his ear. He's bleeding out of his ear. He's bleeding out of his ear. Get him better. What the f*** you walking up on me? I'm moving down.
Ouch. So, yeah, you can see that he was shoved, fell backward, hit his head. I believe he has a concussion. He's a 75-year-old man. Went to the hospital. I believe he's in stable condition now. But, wow. That's tough to watch. Incredibly tough to watch. But that's what happened. So now get this, right? So now after this happened, WKBW TV's Jeff Russo, who was reporting on this, he said the department spokesperson had claimed, this is the Buffalo Police Department, they said the man was, quote, injured when he tripped and fell. I mean, he just happened to trip and fall right after this officer pushed him. Oh, what are the odds? What are the odds of that happening? I mean, yeah, who could have known that that he would have fallen after we pushed him? Right. Hey, maybe he just randomly, accidentally ended up on the receiving end of this police officer's thrust, right? Where, because that police officers just randomly do this, and he just caught himself on the end of that, and then, oops, sorry, not their fault. Come on, really? Now, the reporter that was there disputed that claim. He said, look, we had a crew on the scene, and after seeing video, he was clearly pushed and stumbled backwards. And look, the newest development in that, of course, is that you had both officers that were involved. The one that was shoving him and the one that didn't actually render any aid. They were both suspended. And so we'll see what develops out of that. But of course, outrage, social media. I want to share some responses here. This is from both conservative and progressive liberal figures. So there's outrage everywhere, right? And so we'll start out with Joe Walsh, who, again, is an incredibly conservative Republican, former, I think, Republican, actually, now independent. And he's a big Trump critic. So that's interesting. But he says this, horrible. I pray he's okay. Reporter Yashar Ali says, this is so difficult to watch, but I urge you, if you can. An elderly man pushed over by the Buffalo PD. He's bleeding. An officer leans down and is told to move on by another officer. Then the Buffalo PD tells the media that the man tripped, which is a clear lie. Absolutely. And so S.E. Cupp, another conservative, she said, shove is too kind of word. They flattened him. Calling it like you see it. And she's absolutely right. Another one says, Buffalo police said the man was injured after he tripped and fell. You're kidding me, right? One officer even stopped another from checking on him after his head started gushing blood and stopped others from going to check on him. What is happening? Now, again, you did hear in the video where they were calling for a medic. So I guess to be fair, at least they were saying, well, you should probably get this guy out of here, and get him checked out. Okay. But what's happening is police brutality. And it turns out, yes, it affects white elderly people too. These cops, look, they're showing you that they don't care who you are. They will plow through you if you are against their authoritarianism. And look, that's what black people have been dealing with for hundreds of years. Also, leftists, liberals, anti-war protesters, people that protest against police, against police brutality, as you've seen, but also protest against corporate overreach and greed. And so that's what they face every single time. And so it's not a surprise to me to see this, but, to people watching, they are surprised. Now, another one says this is simply outrageous and criminal behavior, absolutely, backed by a morally corrupted political leadership. A senior citizen is brutally pushed and left behind bleeding by the Buffalo police. Another one says, disgusting. I used to think that it's just some bad apples. No, it's all of you. None of them even got down to help. Absolutely. And again, another person chimed in saying this video from Buffalo, riot police shoving an old man to the pavement, is a clear example of why there are no good cops. Even when one officer stops to help, he's pulled away and doesn't fight it. Then they push away the reporter filming. And so, look, that's later on in that same video. And again, let me get to that reporter's name here. This was Jeff Russo. Again, he was the one that filmed this. And later on, the cops are like, you can't be filming here. You got to back up. You got to get out of here. And so they literally pushed him out. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what you're seeing here. Look, if you're not worried about fascism in America, well, then you're not paying attention. As I mentioned before, black people have been dealing with this for hundreds of years. And now if you challenge that authority, if you challenge the people in power, well, then you're going to get attacked. And you can thank, by the way, if, at least in this instance, Bill de Blasio and Andrew Cuomo. I really, I'm not glad this happened, right? But I'm glad that the honeymoon for Cuomo is over, because you could see a lot of liberals like, oh, Cuomo, he's so good. He's so wonderful. Look at how he's dealt with coronavirus. Look at how he's so much more presidential than Donald Trump. No, I'm glad the mask is off, because this is who Cuomo really was. And de Blasio for not stopping the NYPD. I mean, they're both, on this issue, they're both terrible. And Cuomo's especially an authoritarian. And so I'm really glad that honeymoon is over, because Cuomo is garbage and always has been garbage. So, again, look, I'm glad that's happened. But it's still, this entire situation shouldn't have happened. There's no reason. There's no violence. Those protesters were not violent at all. But this is what's happening all over the country. You have the police that are in some cases literally shoving and pushing and brutalizing nonviolent protesters in order to clear them off the streets. This is authoritarianism. This is fascism, and this is gross. It should have never ever happened, because look, I think we need more than just reform. Right? I know a lot of people are talking about, hey, police reform, right? No, there's a reason that defund the police is now becoming a popular position in America. It's because we see these officers walking around not as normal police officers, but as an invading paramilitary force. They don't look like what cops should be able to, what they should be looking like. They are looking like the military, and they should not be having these military tanks and these weapons, and this mindset. They're not in a foreign country, which, by the way, we shouldn't even be in foreign countries and treating people like that. And look, let's be honest, right? I think soldiers would probably not be as bad as the National Guard troops and these police officers. And so that's not saying that I want cops on the streets or military police on the streets, or the military or soldiers. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that these cops are completely out of control, and we need to do something to rein them in. And we can start by demilitarizing them for sure. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a patreon.com/TYTNation set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.